This video is supported by Rocket Railways for all your model railway needs. Please check the link in the description below.
Hello and welcome back to Galgormhall. Murphy's Models have just released their new Irish Class 121 locomotive. They've been releasing them in batches over the last couple of months and mine arrived just a couple of weeks ago. Today I got a decoder for it, so it's time to get it out of the box and take a look and see what it's all about. The Class 121 locomotive was manufactured between 1960 and 1961 and they were a stalwart on the Irish rail network right up until the last one was withdrawn in 2008. Up until 1961, Iarnród Éireann had purchased the majority of their diesel stock from British manufacturers, but a combination of performance, reliability, they turned their attentions to General Motors and ordered this series of locomotives. Very similar to the British Class 20 locomotive, drivers had visibility issues when driving in one direction, so it was deemed necessary that all these locos would run cab end first. As time progressed, they also ran as double-headed trains to avoid that slow turnaround on a turntable at one end of a journey. Murphy's Models have been a stalwart themselves of the Irish model railway fraternity for quite a number of years. It's been a while since they produced a new loco, and it was with great excitement that many of us over here in Ireland were going to get our hands on something brand new from them. So let's take a further look. Let's not mess about too much in terms of the box. Nobody's that keen on seeing the detail of a box, but just to say that it is nicely presented. I have been warned in advance that you need to take quite a bit of care whenever removing this item from the box. It's an unusual foam packed protective case, but if I take it out very gently, this is what we have. Now, Murphy's Models have always been renowned for high detail on their locomotives, and this certainly appears to be no exception. I have opted for the black and tan livery option. This was the second livery that was put on these logos approximately a year after the original silver and yellow one that you can see in the photograph there. In terms of its finish, it's really striking, so it is. It's beautifully finished. There aren't any bleeds in terms of the lines, particularly on the white to the black and also the black to the orange, and the decals of the number are absolutely spotless. As with all Murphy models, they do come highly detailed. We do have sprung buffers at either end. The locomotive is fitted with standard name pockets and couplings, and these would be easily converted to KDs. There is an accessory pack is also included to fit front and rear. One of the other hotly anticipated details that is included on this logo is the etched brass grille along the front, and hopefully you can see just there that is visible right the way through, and that is just highly detailed and looks fabulous as a result. Not something perhaps you will see too often as you're travelling around the layout, but from a viewing point of view, just to sit and look at it, that is quite stunning. And if you look very closely within it, there is a little bit of engine detailing in there too. Lovely detail of the handrails along the top, and obviously the other protective rails at the sides of the steps on both sides. The vacuum pipe is added front and rear, but all the other accessories need to be applied yourself. Now, this won't be as easy to pick up, but interior cab detail has also been included, and hopefully you can just see some of the dials and levers that are presented on the interior of the cab. another fine touch. You can also see just the crisp detail of the horn right in the centre of that cab too. So all in all, I really am quite impressed with the overall look of the thing. It's a very striking design of a logo. As I said previously in my introduction, it's quite similar to the British Class 20, but with that a real American sort of ruggedness and angular look to it. But it's all well and good looking at it. What we really want to do is get it onto the layout, and that's the second thing that Murphy's models have done very well. They have provided three options essentially to you. You have the standard DCC decoder, but you also have two sound decoder variations. Now the sound variations, as from my understanding, is that you basically have a decoder that provides the sound prior to some of the upgrades that were included into the engine compartments in later modifications of the build. And then you also obviously have the second sound decoder, which has those sound modifications. Perhaps it would take a very trained eye to notice the difference, but in the case of B125, I've gone for the MM0567 sound decoder. I'm just about to lift the body out, or the body away from the chassis, but just a word on removing this to fit a decoder. There are 4 screws, 2 at either end, and these need to be removed. But equally, before you actually try and lift it out, you do need to remove the couplings from the name pockets, as the valance at the below the buffer beam will foul and you'll not be able to remove it. And then it is just a case of lifting it away, just being careful that you don't get your bogies caught up in that valance, which I think I just have right now. In addition to that, whenever you're placing it back in, you'll see these 2 handlebars almost like here. That needs to fit down in between the screws here and the front, or the bonnet of the logo. So just a word of warning on those little details. But once out, it's just a matter of carefully removing the blanking chip, and then it's only a matter of replacing it with your decoder. And the beauty of a 21 pin decoder is that there is only one correct way to place it in, and that's it in place. So I will get this onto the test track and make sure that we do have some life in this before we go any further. Alrighty, we're ready to go. I've had a quick test and a quick play, and everything is looking good, and more importantly, it's sounding absolutely fantastic. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to start up the engine just so you can hear that humming rattle of it. Now, I appreciate whenever anybody watches these sort of things and they hear sound coming through on video, it never really sort of transfers itself just as well, but I will try and do my best just to present it the way it's meant to be. Once I get it up and running, I'm just going to do a very slow movement back and forth just to demonstrate the slow speed capabilities of this decoder. Hopefully you've got a sense of some of the sound coming off of that. Like I say, it's very difficult to pick it up well whenever you're filming off a video camera and you're maybe watching it through an iPad or something like that, but I did want to demonstrate it. What I want to do now is just show you some of the lighting features on it, and then we'll go over onto the layout and give it a little bit of a run out. Okay, in terms of lighting, it's all fairly straightforward. We obviously have directional lighting front and rear. There are an awful lot of additional functions. This is very much the basics of it. It just requires going onto the Murphy Models website and checking those out to get those additional ones. But all in all, you know, it's a really nicely finished locomotive. Beautiful sound on it. I appreciate that you maybe won't be able to pick that up on the camera just as well, but I'm really happy. So I think it's about time we got this running, and I'm going to hook it up against the Cravens and we'll get it out onto the layout for a good run round. Okay, this really is an incredible little model. I didn't expect anything else from Murphy Models. Anything that I've bought from them before has always been absolutely top notch, and this is no exception. During the course of recording this video, I found myself on the internet picking up another of these, and I went with the other one that's in this black and tan livery, B131, and it came in the post just prior to Christmas. Haven't got a decoder for it yet, so we will get a double-headed unit set up on this in the new year whenever decoder comes through. But one of the things that I noticed with regards to that second unit that came through is the subtle differences in the detailing. On this one here we have handrails just at the front end, whereas on B131 it runs right the way along the length of the bonnet. Just those subtle little differences that make every individual model unique. It's a beautiful runner straight out of the box, lovely at slow speeds. That sound file is really quite something. Now in the shots there you'll have seen me running it alongside my 071. Indeed, I had the sound on with the 071, but this one here drowned it out. The speaker is just down in at the battery box there, and it really is, it's quite something special in there. So if you're in the market for something Irish, something a little bit different on your layout, you really cannot go wrong with this Murphy Models 121. That brings to a close this video. It really has been quite a year in terms of Irish stuff appearing on the layout, as I'll show you now, and hopefully there'll be more to come in the rest of 2021. I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.